Hi, it's Obo1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox. Today I'm going to be talking about a really hideous subject, and I'm going to be using footage that may trigger some people. I'm also going to be using some footage of me fighting against TOC in my Viper Mark IV. I actually put two 4-shell cannons on it, went full out 4-shell cannon railguns, and had some fun shooting things until they spun round in a good fun wing battle with Time of Chaos. It was great fun. I do just love, like, you can see when you hit with the 4-shell cannons. That's why I like using them. They're not the best, but they are just fun. And I do find when fighting TOC, it is way more fun if I fight them in something that's like not a ridiculous meta build or a gimbal scrub build, you know. And the 4-shell cannon railgun build, at least I have to do a bit of aiming. It's not the best flying in the world, but I had fun, and I got a partial kill on the mine laying Cobra at some point in this fighting, so I'll take that. As to the rest of the video is going to be me ranting about a subject that's filled my YouTube channel for many years. Now, I've always made videos exposing cheats and reporting cheats and reporting people for way back when for boosting in Call of Duty, reporting people for cheating, hacking, modding, you know, the general sort of people being dicks in online games. That's something that I have always done. I've never understood it. I'm not an angry gamer. I'm not someone that gets easily annoyed or easily frustrated. If someone kills me in a video game, I send them a GG and I get on with it. You have to work really hard to grind any salt out of me. I'm just not generally a salty type of person. I really couldn't care less. In the Call of Duty days, a lot of people did try, but they didn't really get anywhere. You know, I come from a very competitive background. I played competitively at a high level when I was very young, and I played a lot very competitively at a high level, and I always approached it with good humour, sportsmanship, and, you know, enjoyed myself. And that's all you can really be expected to do. When it comes to online video games, I just think as long as you're not a dick, you're doing something right. And that's basically it. I mean, asking people not to cheat shouldn't be that difficult. One of the ones that always amazes me is when people combat log. A lot of them say, I didn't know it was wrong. And I'm like, really? You didn't know it was wrong to pull the plug on an online multiplayer game in the midst of a combat with somebody else? How did you think that was going to be right? You know, I mean, I know we're not at the stage where it's like the combat games or the sport games like FIFA, where it's really rampant, but you know, it's pretty rampant on Elite Dangerous. You get a lot of people combat logging, you get a lot of people pulling the plug to avoid death. What I would say is, if it happens to you, report them to Microsoft using the Microsoft tools as for exiting the game early to avoid destruction. And I would recommend doing that over and over again. Reporting it to FDev has never really seemed to have done anything. Here I have an example of a combat log, which I'll put in the background. The ship this Cobra is shooting at suddenly stops taking damage, and you know, that's it. The clip's from Selfish One, who is on my friends list, and he posted this in one of the groups, and it caused quite a stir. A lot of comments, a lot of backlash, and people seem to have this thing about defending combat logging if the person that's seen to be combat logging against is someone they consider to be an in-game bad guy or griefer, or like myself, a pirate, which is bizarre, because like, it doesn't make any sense to me. You're justifying cheating at a video game because you think the person that was attacking you, what did they do wrong? They attacked a ship in open. I mean, you know, I get it, if they attacked you in private group you might have beef, but if they attack you in open, I'm sorry, they're legitimately playing the game. You're the one with the problem, you're the one cheating. There is a group out there that their leader actually tells their members to combat log on griefer groups, and he basically gives them a list of griefer groups and says just basically log on these guys, which is hilarious. That is kind of the stage we're at with Elite Dangerous, and with many online video games. You see this an awful lot. You see people cheating constantly in online video games. It is almost epidemic, the proportions at which people will cheat at video games. And when you call them out, when you confront people, they usually give you the same answers, like, well, I only do it because everyone else does it, which is like the lamest answer ever. Then you get the I didn't know it was wrong, which is like, well, then tell me how it was right. And a lot of people make a lot of excuses, but ultimately, look, asking people not to cheat at a video game shouldn't be a hard ask. It shouldn't be something, that you have to bang on about. It should just be common courtesy to not cheat. I mean, and also in a video game like Elite Dangerous, where the punishment for death is nothing. Now that was a lovely bit of snippet of me fighting TOC again, but back now, this is Dark Owl with the second example of combat logging. I'm actually thinking this one might have been a menu log. Having watched it back a couple of times, I'm thinking this one's a menu log. Just the way it goes down, the amount of time, not sure, but might have been a menu log, which if that's the case, that's not actually technically cheating, but as I said in a recent video, it's going to get frowned upon as if it is cheating. But it's a bit of an odd one because he's shooting back and then he's not, and then he vanishes. So I honestly don't know. This one I'm not sure about, because the way it goes down, it may even be a D instance, because he is shooting and fighting and moving, and then it all just cuts out. Now I have to talk to Al about this. I might put in the comments down below if he actually got messages from this guy confirming he combat logged or something like that, because it is just a bit of an odd one. So he's now stopped shooting and then he vanishes, so that's why I suspect it may have been him actually quitting through the menu because of the amount of time, but I don't know. It's a difficult one, that one. Not 100% sure that's a log, but definitely the person did exit the game ungracefully to avoid death, which is not good. It's back to me fighting TOC. Now, recently we had a lot of temptation on Xbox. So there was an update which released a Gauss Cannon, which could glitch and give 9 gazillion damage, and people were one-shotting everything with it. Now this caused a massive hoo-ha in the community. Blop, who the Brazilian League of Pilots, were in second place on the leaderboards for Thargoid hunting. And 2 days after the Gauss Cannon came out, they weren't even on the first page. They had dropped really significantly down, massively dropped down the rankings. They were vying for top spot, very close, and then suddenly they are nowhere to be seen. Now Blop are a huge group. I should know, I've recently been trying to BGS against them. They're monstrous, absolutely tons of commanders, and honestly, I don't keep my finger on the pulse, but someone pointed it out to me, so I went and had a look at the scoreboard, and you could see there was something funky going on, because Blop had dropped from second place all the way down, and you'll see them there. Where are they? I don't even see them in the small version that I'm looking at now, but there they go, 19th, from second down to 19th, and they've been overtaken by groups that aren't really Thargoid hunty groups, groups that don't play a lot, groups that don't have a lot of members. I think the group in 10th place has about 10 members. So that to me screams that people were using the Gauss Cannon to kill Thargoids. So they were using a glitched, exploited Gauss Cannon to kill Thargoids over and over again and make money from it. Now, this is where I'm going to deviate from a lot of people, because I'm going to say that's wrong, and that's as wrong as combat logging. Because if you use money you got from an exploit to pay for your rebuy, you're no better than a combat logger. That's my opinion. That's, how much of a fair play addict I am, I consider use of any exploit to be cheating and to be as bad as combat logging. If you're using, exploited credits to pay for your rebuys, then how are you any better than the combat logger who's avoiding the rebuy by using an exploit? You're using an exploit to avoid having to pay for it, and so is he. Now I know that's an incredibly harsh opinion, and also I do know that this actually puts me in a camp agreeing with Blop, who were one of the few people to kick up about this. This overuse of the glitch Gauss Cannon to rack up tons and tons of Thargoid kills. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's cheating, because you know that the gun's not supposed to do that much. It's a glitch, it's an exploit. You should know better. The only thing is, I don't think FDev in this instance came out and said in any quick time that, don't use it. It would be seen as an exploit if you do. There are even commanders going around murdering people. Now, I have picked on cops because they're an obvious choice. This group were in 7th place with 7 members. They had managed to overhaul Blop, nearly double their score in just a few days with just 7 members. And mostly they're PvPers, not people who spend a lot of time killing Thargoids. Go figure. That all seemed legitimate. Now, I'm not ragging on cops. Everyone seemed to be doing it. There was so much Thargoid gibbing going on with the Gauss Cannon that it's very easy to see that, there were probably 8-10 people in the instance. Whoever had the Gauss Cannon was shooting Thargoid after Thargoid after Thargoid. Everyone else is just chipping in so they get paid. And then, those people all work for different groups. All of those groups were getting massive bonuses because, they were with or knew people that had the Gauss Cannon. Now, I understand that Blop were disappointed by this because they felt they'd worked really hard and legitimately to get the reward, the trophy for the end of season thing, but that's one of those things. I tell you what, I really should have left this fight, but I was having way too much fun. Once my module reinforcement got taken out, I knew I was in serious trouble, but I was having way too much fun fighting these guys to actually worry about survival or getting out. And also I'm on a Viper Mike 4, really cheap rebuy. So back to the subject. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if you use exploits to make money, you're no better than a combat logger. Now I know that's an incredibly harsh view, and people are going to disagree with me and say, that's unfair of me, but that's pretty much the circumstance here. I consider any use of any exploit to be equally as bad as any other use of an exploit. I was against a lot of the money-making exploits that have happened within the game. And I always say to people, if it smells like an exploit, if it looks like an exploit, it's probably an exploit. You shouldn't be doing it. And most of the time, the people involved should know better. If you're a lawful faction within the game that preaches to people as piety, you shouldn't be running a glitch that makes you invulnerable. I got sent this clip by a lot of people. There were a couple of clips of this floating around. This is the one I got sent over and over again by people asking me if I was going to do a video about it. Now honestly, I'm not very invested in this clip. The person being shot at has made themselves invulnerable. This was a bug or a glitch that was around at the time of the Gauss Cannon, which apparently some people could make themselves invulnerable to damage and module damage. He's obviously aware he's doing it from the comms, basically saying that he knew he was invulnerable, which is probably why he's dicking around. But honestly, I don't know if he's doing it deliberately or just fell into it accidentally, and I don't really care. The person in question should know better than to do this sort of thing. I mean, it isn't difficult. Just don't be a dick. Don't cheat at video games. It's not hard. It's not a hard prerequisite. Especially if you're someone that's got a history of being a combat logger or something like that. If you've got a history of using exploits or being caught cheating, being a persistent cheat is never a good thing. So I would always say, like, if it looks like an exploit, if it smells like an exploit, it's probably an exploit. Don't do it. It's really simple. And as I said, I know it's a really harsh view, but if you make money via exploits, to me, you're no better than a combat logger. If you run exploits, to me, you're no better than a combat logger. I'm very glad I didn't get sent many clips of people using the Gauss Cannon on other people, because I didn't consider that to be something you should be doing either. That was kind of just a dick move. And breaches my simple rule. Don't be a dick. That's it. Really simply, just, you know, if you get annoyed at this game, if you get really angry at this game, don't send people hate mail. Just send them a GG and just get on with your life. You know, because somebody killed you is no reason to get salty with them. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, there's no reason to cheat. Just take your rebuy, have a laugh and smile. Here I am ridiculously trying to reboot and repair with half of TOC shooting me with high yield cannons after mining me to pieces. But you know what? I joined their party, had a chat with them, had a laugh about it, and I really enjoyed myself in this fight, shooting people with 4 shell cannons. It was great fun. You know, and that is how the game should be taken, in good heart, not with all this venomous anger all the time. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much for watching.